Hi everyone, I'm Bob Kovacs, and this is my review of the Panasonic AG-CX10 camcorder. This is a professional camcorder in Panasonic's lineup, and it's loaded with professional features. Topping the list of the features is a 24 times optical zoom lens. This lens will go from 25 millimeters at the wide range to 600 millimeters at the telephoto range. So it'll really reach out there for you if you want to do shoots that are at a sports arena, or you want to do wildlife shoots. It's pretty good for that kind of stuff. As you can see, it comes with a microphone holder. I'm not clear whether it comes with the microphone, but it comes with the microphone, the shotgun microphone holder. It also has professional audio controls and two XLR audio connectors on this side of the camera. So you can plug in up to two devices, whether they be line level or mic level, and you can control them with the controls on this side of the camera. Also, one of my favorite features in front of the camera is a light that you can turn on. It'll be a on-camera light to help light the subject, whatever you're talking about. Now, it's not super powerful, but it's powerful enough so that if whatever your subject is, if that's close enough to the camera, it'll do pretty good. Of course, with the zoom, it has a rocker control with a nice soft touch, just like you expect a professional camera to have. On the back, it has things like an SDI BNC output connector, and in addition to SDI, it also has HDMI out. So it's got both HDMI and SDI, which gives you a lot of flexibility as to where you use it. It has a nifty camera lens cap, and you can take this lens hood off if you want. There are a couple of different rings here, so you can control the zoom and the iris manually if you want to. It also has neutral density filters and all the usual controls you expect to see on a professional video camera. There's a flip out display, which is 3.5 inches across. It also has a pull-out and tilting eyepiece viewfinder, which is super handy to have. In fact, when I've been using the camera, most of the time I've been using this eyepiece viewfinder. So there's a lot of things to cover with this camera. I'm going to try to get through them quickly, but let's get started. First of all, the CX10 is surprisingly small. I mean, this is it. This is in the palm of my hand, and my hands aren't all that big. One of the reasons why the camera is so small is because it uses a 1/2.5 inch sensor. This is smaller than a 1/2 inch sensor, but larger than a 1/3 of an inch sensor. And that is another reason why they're able to pack a 24 times zoom lens into a package this small, because the sensor is so small. Now, normally a smaller sensor means that the image quality can suffer a little bit. But I was pretty impressed with the CX10. We'll see a lot more about its image quality coming up later in the review. But small size, if you want a small size. And the handle is mighty nifty to have too. On top of the camera, you have a cold shoe. You have an intensity control for the on-camera light. There's a rocker switch for the zoom lens so that you can be holding the camera by its handle and zoom in and out. And there's also a red button to start and stop recording. One of my favorite features about the CX10 is the handle. I love having the handle there. It's easy to carry the camera. I like the controls on it. Everything about the handle is good. There's even a point on top where you could attach this to a crane if you wanted to do crane moves with this camera. But you can also remove the handle, and the camera is completely usable without the handle. So just turn this nut, lift it up, and pull the handle back and up, and it comes off. And what you have with the handle off on top of the camera, you have a cold shoe. This is the camera's built-in microphone. You also still have an attachment point up here on top of the camera, and where the handle fits in is a little trap door that seals itself once the handle's removed. And now you can easily see the zoom rocker control, which is very nice and fits on your fingertips really well. Now you no longer have the XLR audio connections, but you have a 3.5 millimeter audio input here, so you could use a different kind of microphone and still plug a microphone in. So the camera is completely usable. Of course, it's a little lighter, and the screen flips out. Everything works exactly the same way. My loaner CX10 came with a 5900 milliamp hour battery, which can power the camera for several hours. One of the nice features about the battery is it has a built-in check button so you can check the status of the charge. The zoom lens on the CX10 is really wonderful. The 24 times range gives you this phenomenal ability to pull out and see a wide scene and then slowly zoom in and things become clearer and clearer until you can finally see what the camera was pointing at all along. So one of my favorite features about the CX10 is the fact that it has a built-in light on the handle right in front of the camera, right above the lens where you want a light to be. Now, if you find yourself in an awkward lighting situation like this, just turn on the light and now you can get a usable picture. And it comes in really handy for a lot of shots. In another test of the CX10's built-in light, I set up some objects and I shot them in just the ambient room light. Then I switched on the camera's light to demonstrate the difference. It really makes the subjects pop. This is a test of the CX10's autofocusing capability. I have 3 spice bottles spaced apart so that I can move from one to the other and see how the camera's autofocus reacts. So this is the bottle that's closest to me, and that's the next, and that's the next. Now I'm going to go from the farthest bottle to the nearest bottle just to see how it reacts. It's pretty good. It does a nice smooth autofocus without the snap that sometimes autofocus can make in some cameras. This really looks pretty nice and smooth. And the image stabilization is nice too. I'm hand holding this and things are nice and stable. So I'm testing out the image stabilization. I have the optical image stabilization set to normal, and I'm just walking along behind someone to see if it's like a Steadicam shot. I wanted to see how good the CX10 was at night, being that it has a small sensor, and small sensors are typically not the best at night. So I set it up to shoot an intersection, and then I speeded up the video. I recorded a few minutes of video and then I speeded it up to make it into a time lapse. And then I shot someone walking down city streets at night, lit only by lights from stores and by street lights. And this is how the video looked. And all things considered, considering it's a small sensor, it looks pretty good. You can use this for night shots. Perhaps my least favorite thing about the CX10 is the location of the on-off switch. You have to open the flip-out monitor and then press this button here to turn the camera on and off. Now, most of the time, I end up using the eyepiece viewfinder, so I keep this closed. I have to open it up then to turn the camera off, open it up to turn the camera back on again. It'd be a lot more convenient if the switch was on the back where your thumb is to operate the record button. Another of my least favorite things about the CX10 is the menu. Now you get into the menu and let's say that you want to change the recording format that you're using. So you open the menu and it comes up just like this. Well, you might think that recording format would be under camera. So you touch camera and it's a nice touch screen, but none of those are recording format. Okay, well you go back. Well, you look down here, oh, it says recording. Formats have got to be under recording. No, you can format your media, but none of those are the actual recording format that you want to use, 4K or HD or whatever. So that's not under recording. So it's not under camera and it's not under recording. Where would you get to the record format? Believe it or not, it's under system. And you go under system and there you go, it says record format. You touch it and now you get a list of your recording formats. The Panasonic AG-CX10 is the ideal camera for corporate broadcast stringer news operations, for educational applications, for things like religious applications where you need a camera that you can shoot interviews and you can put in the back of a large hall and get a nice close-up of somebody at the front of the hall. It's really ideal for that kind of use. Now, if your goal is to have a camera that you can do video production with and be able to do filmmaking, sure, you could do that with the CX10, but that's really not what it's made for. It's really meant for broadcast news, especially it's a perfect stringer camera. I mean, it's perfect. You don't want to give your stringer's $10,000 camera, so you can give them a $2,500, $2,600 camera, which is what the street price of the CX10 is. And it really is ideal for that use. It has professional audio connections. It works just like a broadcast camera works. So it has everything that they're going to need, and just start running with it. And likewise for corporate and educational use, their use is similar to what they would do in broadcast. And of course, it does streaming, so all you have to do is have it near a Wi-Fi hub, and you can stream to the Wi-Fi hub and get the signal out of the camera live and do live streaming with the camera. So it's got wonderful things like that. But if you do film production like I do, and things like YouTube videos, this is not the ideal camera for that application. For those applications, you're going to want typically a larger sensor, so you get a better depth of field, so you get better nighttime video characteristics. And with this small sensor, the 1/2.5 inch sensor that's in this, that is, again, it's a little smaller than a 1/2 inch sensor, a little bigger than a 1/3 of an inch sensor. Now, Panasonic in its line has bigger brothers that have 1 inch sensors and micro 4/3 sensors, both of which are considerably larger than the sensor that's in this camera. And those cameras would be better for filmmaking and video production sort of work. However, if your application is video news, corporate, educational kind of video, then this is really a nice camera at a very nice price, and it's super solid. You pick this thing up and it just feels like it's carved out of stone. It just feels super rugged and strong. The lens with the 24x zoom lets you get stuff way, way, way out and then zoom back in and get a wide shot. So it's a really fine camera, as long as you make sure that you get it for the application you need it. Hey everybody, I'm Bob Kovacs. Thanks for watching.